Welcome to Unbiased and On the Fence. I'm Shane. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this wonderful Tuesday. How's it going, Michelle?
Hey, bro. Good, good. Just
Awesome.
like, woo. Just before we started getting ready, I could feel the energy start to come in to the top of my head. It's just, wow, strong.
And you guys in the audience can chime in too, but have you been noticing how it seems like you get into a meditative state much quicker now? It's
Oh,
almost for,
yes.
I've been feeling, and I've heard other people talk about the chills that you've talked about, almost like you're feeling it wash like from your crown
Or
down.
down.
Yeah. It's almost
Mm-hmm.
more down your back or your spine or whatever, but
Mm-hmm.
very good stuff.
Yeah. Currents. Yeah, definitely noticed that. Um, Definitely been feeling the purging energy over the last week. So both physically, a couple days had a hard time there. Just seizes up headaches, hits here first, but it flushed through really fast, all within like a day, pretty much. Just hit headache. This tightens up, then I can feel it flutter through. Just had to spend some time meditating, and then it goes down to the gut, whoosh, and then today I had a good salt bath and just focused on transmuting whatever needs to be released. Also noticing wanting to clean and make space physically in my area, things that no longer serve me, that no longer I need, that are collecting dust on a shelf,
Right?
you know. So yeah, I felt that in several ways, and this calm sense of realization that it's all preparation for the next cycle or stage of bringing something new and manifesting and clearing way for that. And within physically within the body, it's making room to hold more and more of this violet light, right?
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which is actually pretty interesting because I was just telling you that Sherry had sent me a thing telling me about Tesla, and I looked it up and I was like, yeah, right, But so let's share this really quick because this kind of got me excited, especially when I started to look into the information that comes up from that. So let me share the screen and pull up this really cool news right here. So I've
Mm-hmm.
actually checked this out. Okay, I found the actual FBI documents it talks about. But FBI report: Nikola Tesla, inventor of wireless technology, an alien from Venus.
It sounds like something you'd read on the a cover of a whatever a rag magazine, right? But it's Epoch Times. They put out really good articles. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, I did find the actual. Let me see if I can actually pull it up here just so you guys. No, I'm not joshing you here. Yeah, here it is right here. Okay, so yeah, you can actually go to vault.fbi.gov, Nikola Tesla, and you can actually look in the archives. But here, I'll just read this one little paragraph because this
Mm-hmm.
was so exciting when I read this. Margaret Storm has been assigned to certain work with the space people as follows. She is writing a book, Return of the Dove, a story of the life of Nikola Tesla, scientist, and the part his inventions will play in the new age. Much of the data for this book has been supplied to Mrs. Storm through transcripts received on the Tesla set, a radio type machine invented by Tesla in 1938 for interplanetary communication. Tesla died in 1943, and his engineers did not build the Tesla set until after his death. It was placed in operation in 1950, and since that time, the Tesla engineers have been in close touch with spaceships. The space people have visited the Tesla engineers many times and have told us that Tesla was a Venusian brought to this planet as a baby in 1856 and left with Mr. and Mrs. Tesla in a remote mountain province in what is now Yugoslavia. And and if you go find this book, which you can, Return of the Dove, because although it
Yeah.
wasn't done at that, it wasn't published yet. It is now, and you can find a PDF of it. So I'm going to be doing a video just kind of highlighting this stuff because it's so
Mhm.
exciting and fascinating. And
It's very interesting. And you sent me that information too with the PDF of the book. So I'm really excited to read that.
yeah, there was even a spot down in here that I noticed where they talk about a motor that he built at Niagara Falls. For the Mandela effect people out there that know, it used to be spelled Niagra, like Niagara, but now it's Niagara. And for many people that's new. But in this document, it actually said he built one of the motors there. I don't know if it's a generator or something, probably. But anyway, it had Niagara Falls in the old document. But perhaps they didn't know how to spell right. Are you?
Hmm.
Oh, okay. I thought I lost you. Interesting stuff, though, isn't it? Makes you wonder. You're frozen for me. Are you still there? Let's see here. There we go. Are you back?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I thought you were, in deep thought or something for a moment.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading that so we can chat about it. Even that book. Hmm?
Yeah, now the book's even more
Yeah, it's
interesting.
cutting out funny. When you were reading that, it was on my end anyways, it was chopping the audio
Okay, yeah,
and the
hopefully.
timing's off, I
Okay,
think.
yeah,
As
yours
soon
is
as you
for me
brought up this
too.
topic, the video went all weird.
I don't know, is it
Yeah.
coming through for you guys okay?
I'm looking forward
Or
to reading that.
hopefully that came through for you guys. Or it looks like I'm sending just fine, but looks like our connection might be a little wonky. But yeah, it's super interesting stuff. So, um,
Yeah, our timing's completely off.
yours is actually almost lined up now. You were frozen for a while, so it'll probably straighten out. Let's see here. Hey, everybody in the chat. Okay, so
Hmm.
I wanted to talk about something that happened in meditation while, and then maybe the signal will get a little bit better for you or whatever. But so I was meditating and I was noticing that I was sort of rocking in a circle, doing the whole rocking thing and I hadn't really noticed, but once it came into my awareness, I just observed it, and it's almost like I didn't even ask the question, but the answer came to me of why it happens, and I got the Doppler effect. So in my mind, I'm like, the Doppler effect? That's like when a car drives by and the horn's like, the horn didn't really change tune, but it sounds like it to the observer of the car passing, like that the tone the horn was playing changed. When actuality, if you're in the car, it doesn't sound like it changes to you, right? So that's called the Doppler effect. And it's whenever like
Right.
waves from two different sources, like you're observing the wave that's created at another source and you're moving. You're not stationary with it. So that's what happens. So what came to me, like, and this was all in a brief moment, right? Just like bam, right? The Doppler effect. When I'm moving like this, all of your chakras are picking up the energy and anything external begins to warble, right? Because it's external to you. But all of everything that's within is moving with you. All of your chakras are moving. So it becomes this almost dividing mechanism. Have you seen people channel that do that? That rock when they channel?
Yes.
Okay,
I'll notice it. Yeah, I
right.
notice it comes in sort of like
So you're creating this
mm-hmm.
Doppler effect and you're able to better
It's a
filter
home.
out external from internal, what's emanating from the heart space, what you're actually getting from outside the matrix, so to speak. Do you see what I'm saying? And then it's all
Right.
happened. You can actually notice the sound.
Yeah,
As soon as I noticed that, I was listening to the fan. I had a fan going in the room, and I could hear it sound different as I was moving around. Slightly. It was warbling.
yes.
It was just changing with my position, and it was shown to me just like that sound was changing. Anything external that's coming in, and it becomes this useful tool as you become more and more aware of your own presence and being in that now moment of what's external and what's internal, because all your answers are within. We have our own sovereignty within. We don't need anything on the external. All your answers are within. But you start this You know, so if you feel like you're rocking and you feel like I need to stop, I need to sit still, it's not good to move, I'd say go with it. Because most of the time when I do it, it's almost intuitively I do it and I notice it after the fact. Oh, I'm rocking a little bit. That's
It's
weird.
like a tuning in process, though. It's like an antenna. It's like to me, it's like it is sort of like a grounding, centering process, or it's like finding your rhythm,
Mm-hmm. Right.
like the balance of your rhythm, and then it kind of centers you. And sometimes I do feel it very still,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah,
So,
that's really interesting. I do find it's like a honing in or tuning in process.
yeah. So I'd say go with it. If
And
you
then
feel like
it's
doing it, go with it.
rhythmic as well.
Yeah.
That's really
So it's cutting out a little bit, but you're coming through. We can hear what you're saying. You're just
mm-hmm.
your video isn't coming through yet.
Yeah,
So I'm going to ask you
for
about
sure.
the dream you had, because I had a dream where it was just really I was just in darkness. It was like my family was waiting for something, and my daughter was right next to me, and the energy kept building and building. And I remember consciously thinking, I'm so glad this doesn't feel like that dream I had where it felt like nuclear, I don't know, radiation or something, and it felt really electrical, and I had that metallic taste in my mouth. It was a really bad dream I had that I talked about for if anybody didn't hear it or whatever, but it didn't feel like that. It just felt very intense, not painful, just almost like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like a roller coaster or something. So it wasn't bad, but it was definitely intense, and it was building and building. It was completely dark, and like I could hear the intensity in my daughter's breathing, and we like grabbed each other's hands and squeezed as it, you know, and it got kind of hit this crescendo, and I woke up. So that was my dream. But you had a dream, so let's talk about your
Mm-hmm.
dream.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, there's a theme with that dream that you had too of the experience being like, oh my gosh, like it's really happening. This is it. This is the moment. Like it's
Right?
happening now.
Yeah.
This is really
And there was a little
happening.
bit of
Here
fear
we go.
around the people
Right?
around me, but for me, I was
Yes.
excited. I was completely excited. There was nothing painful or anything, and I remember consciously thinking that I'm so glad it's not painful like that one dream I had. You know, so it's pretty
You're
cool.
yeah.
Cool stuff. So
Yes.
let's talk about yours.
Yeah, exactly. And so there's a common theme to that.
Right.
Yeah, mine was like just, really vibrant, super clear, and it was kind of an area that was like a cross between like a residential rural. Like there was some houses. It was kind of felt like a park, like big open. There was some people around, but it wasn't like congested. It was very open.
Mm-hmm.
Felt like a park like space, but I had the sense that there was a house, like our house, me and mom living in a house there, and I was with somebody doing something outside. I don't remember what, but all of a sudden they were distracted by something in the sky, and they're pointing up, and I looked up to directly above my head, and it was all cloudy, and there was an image of the clouds, almost but massive, like really really large, but like a bat signal kind of thing.
Right.
But like if somebody was to be you like a screenshot of their phone, like like blasting an image
Right.
almost their own, like that's like on the side, and it was of the Punisher, of the your image.
Oh, really?
I don't know if you know what that is,
Yeah, yeah.
but
The
that's what
skull
it
with the three
was. Like it took
lines
me
or
seconds.
whatever.
The image was so long, like large. I was scanning it up in the sky, and I'm looking like, what's that? Yes, yeah, the skull thing. Yeah, and it took me a second to sort of scan the entire image and see it. I'm like something really cool is going on here, and so I yell over my shoulder, Ma! Hey, Ma! come see this. Come get out here and see this. And just as soon as I said this, all of a sudden it was like the sky is malfunctioning. It's like in the sky. And it was like the sky was like just a flat screen, like a projector screen, like a white screen would be. And you had the pictures or like film that was being placed on it. So it looked like that image. And all of a sudden, all these chunks and different parts, it was like there was this mad scramble to put up these images. But as it was all malfunctioning and just falling apart. And
so you mean like
and I could
reality
hear
itself,
people,
sort of like in the Truman Show? I probably shouldn't
like
start
around
talking the delay.
pointing.
Sorry about that.
Yes, yeah, no, like yeah, like that, like a big dome, like, and all of a sudden these images are like they're falling off, or they almost like disintegrate. It was like if somebody poured acid water, melt and break apart and wash away off of the screen.
Yeah.
That's the images it was. And it was like this sun, like postcard picture color,
right.
like orange of a sunset. But it was just a picture, and the whole thing, all around it started to malfunction. And then it was just this like white screen, like just plain white, like this glowing white. And people around were like pointing at different parts of the sky and, screaming, shouting, kind of freaking out. But I wasn't. I was so excited, and
so it was like the illusion had just
again
away.
It was that sense of like, there it is, here it is, it's happening. It's that whole sense of like, it's actually happening. And there was a real dawning realization too that I've gotten downloads since from this, of that being like the purpose of being here is to actually see it with your own eyes, actually have the experience coming into this reality and perceiving it and being there at that moment where you actually see it all change, right? And there's no fear at all like within me. It was just whatever it is happening now, and this is really it. And then all of a sudden I came enough out of it, and when it was all white, sort of the whole dream illusion sort of disintegrated, and I think that high level of I sort of became highly conscious in the realization. I was like, not again. Fooling, right? So, but it was so real and so clear, energy of that moment and the excitement of it. And yeah. And then it was like, after, it was like, oh, darn.
Hey, a little taste is nice though, that'll keep
but
you
it
going.
also got me really excited.
Yeah, it'll keep you going for a few days. I was really excited when Jean had pulled. We asked at the end of our show on the Friday Night Love stream to have her pull a card for like the rest of the year, just kind of for the group, or just for the rest of 2020, and it was the Justice card. I'm like, that was music to my ears. So I was excited about that one.
Yes, I got that. The scales, I got that in conversation. Yeah, I saw that, the scales.
Yeah.
That image just being and literally like this whoop.
Right, a balancing,
like
right?
If you put that weight on the other end of the scale, and it literally just shifting very yeah, a real flip of the scales.
But going back
justice,
to
I would say that's the energy that's going to play out up through to the end of the year when we get the conjunction.
And the winter solstice? Is that one you're talking about? Do I sound like
time?
Signal's a little bit
around that time.
Right. Okay, so going back to what you were saying, because you're kind of chopping up a little bit, but you were talking earlier about sort of observing all that stuff, and that's really what I've been getting about this whole transmuting. It's almost like, things that have come up again, it's been shown to me how much different I've responded to it, how much I've grown. almost synchronistically a year, and things just, seem to work out. And, when you don't get sucked down and all that stuff. So lately I've been getting dealt with about like not getting pulled down by either personal things or things in the media and all of this stuff, and that we're like anchoring in this light. We need to be there. And as soon as sort of you notice how you get into ego or one of these things, you'll feel this influx of all this extra energy. And I think what it is right now we're being used to transmute so much external energy in the collective that we don't really have time to mess around with our own stuff. So a lot of us have needed to get through all the shadow work. You're like really in this, aren't you? I'll have you come back whenever you get it. But yeah,
I'm here. I'm listening. I'm here.
Okay, so yeah, but it's basically this idea of, using the breathing, staying in line with your own stuff so that you can take on a little bit more and help transmute it's like transmuting more than your share to help the collective in a way, if that makes sense. And that's kind of what was shown to me. It's like you can transmute so much, with just bringing in, oh, there's Gene right there. That was so awesome, Gene. I've been flying high on that card all week already. So, but yeah, the justice card. We need justice. We need balance, and that even tied back into with the whole Mandela effect balancing thing. But back to transmuting these external energies. Once you sort of get present and you deal with your own sovereignty and that whole I am presence that you can step into, you're able to very clearly distinguish the external energies and thought forms and things like that coming in from your own, which kind of goes back to that whole rocking thing in meditation. But yeah, I think a lot of us are powerhouses for transmuting. I know a lot of people in the community are, and they're just able to transmute so much energy. But sometimes, there's like, we got to get our own stuff up. We got to get out of our own impatience or whatever it is that can sometimes drag us down. Or just watching the mainstream too much, right? Are you there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, recognizing when that energy is pulling you side of yourself.
Right. Let's see. I don't know we can try to, if we can
Yeah,
try
there's
to
just a lag.
yeah, there's a little bit of lag. I think your sound's coming through. It's just the video's not, it's just kind of stuck or whatever. You have a pleasant look on your face, so it's okay. But what about muscle twitches? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Your sound's coming through good. Yeah. Yeah, well, I like that you had that download talking, because today, similarly, like just same kind of experience like you had, where I didn't even fully form the question. It was just kind of floated in, and then boom, this whole image. It's like a slideshow that comes in, flash, and seeing the connections of why we get the muscle twitches,
Right.
and it connecting to like acupuncture, with how they use acupuncture, these different points in the body that they place the metal pins, and it's the energy currents. It's like the same thing. So when this energy comes in, it's firing off these currents and sending pulses to these different areas. So it's extra energy that's coming in and firing off these through these currents. The certain pathways, like acupuncture or yogic, like they talk about, all these energy points. Well, they do connect to like the muscle tissue, and they will send off like electric pulses. So that's basically kind of what's happening. It just gave me all these images, like this really quick, sort of movie slideshow of what happens when the energy comes in, and what it's like, and how it runs through those currents and triggers that sort of thing. So, it was very fast, like you talked about, when this download comes in, it's like, you don't even, because I was meditating as well. So it wasn't really forming any question. It was like it just floats into your awareness, and then boom, 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 boom. these images come in. It just kind of shows slideshow. You see this? Yes. Well, that goes with that. Yes. So it comes in.
Right.
So, I like that you had that experience and got that explanation. And I had sort of a similar experience as well today. Bit different kind of information, but kind of same topic. Yeah. And the same, way we perceive getting downloads, how we get this information. What is it like? How do you see through the third eye? What is that like, having the communication with your higher self? And I think that's just a really good example of that. And the more you get familiar with it and accustomed to it and how it works, the more you actually just do that through you don't even really need to be fully meditative. Like you talked about, it's really quick to go into that. Boom, sit back in it. Where am I again? I'm right here. Okay, right. Here I am. And
the size, so important.
The more present you are in that, then the more you're perceiving your reality in that way.
Yeah.
You're not thinking, mentally planning, controlling the situation. Yeah. Right. You're perceiving your environment, and it's like these thoughts, these intuitions they float into your awareness and they unfold before you. And then you get all these affirmations around you coming into your perception in a variety of different ways that just reaffirm to you, yes, that's the theme that we're introducing to you right now. That's the theme that we're opening up to you, that we're showing to you. And these things that we're learning are not simply just mental like thoughts or knowledge, right? We're not just adding books into a library in our mind. What we're actually doing is opening up an awareness within our own selves, or like our own body, and how it is able to function with this energy. Those are the new connections that are being made, right? Those new circuits or pathways being forged each time we're using that third eye to perceive our reality and exchange information on it. We're repatterning our physical form and the way it moves, the way it uses information, the way our brains literally send signals. That's why those muscle twitches are happening. Okay, here's more of it. That's why those muscle twitches and things are happening, because it's our body adapting in new ways, using new circuitry, as we increase these connections to our third eye. And our entire circuit is running smoothly and succinctly and harmonically. And, we're not just focused on one aspect, but we're feeling that and moving it through the entire pillar, basically, of light, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And really, that's what's changing the
world. That's all I have
to
say about that.
But that's really cool, because there's always the approach of it where it seems like, from a lower perspective, like you're not doing anything, but from a higher perspective, just holding that higher vibration, making it more a part of the collective, trying to reach that tipping point, that what do they call it, like the 100th monkey effect, because all of the other broken systems are going to mend themselves as soon as the consciousness of humanity raises, and they can see that the systems are broken, and people are recognizing it now, and I think that's part of this awakening. They're like, look, these systems aren't working anymore. And I think that's the result we're going to see as human consciousness raises. The systems are going to fall away. They're going to be seen for what they are: inadequate, corrupt, whatever they are, And I think that's what we're moving into. I think it's an exciting time. It's just, it's easy to get pulled into the chaos out there. It's easy to wonder if any of these more scary timelines might play out. Those systems can no longer. So it's just a matter of
like hold up the reality. It's a whole new way of perceiving reality.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, there's a big delay there. Okay, so let me see. Was there anything else we can talk about since our connection's bad? Was there anything else we needed to talk about?
It's a really big delay. We're doing our best. We're doing okay. We're
hey, at least we're able to connect up.
But that's what the overlap is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it makes it difficult because your video's coming through late, and then I think your audio is even a little bit later. So- is it like that for
Yeah,
you too?
I don't know why. Yes. Yeah, it's all jumbled a
That's
bit,
so
but
funny, you know, right
I
before
was when
we,
you were
I was, sorry. I was going to say when I was setting up, I think you were about to say the same thing, but you went into that meditative state as I was finally setting up or whatever, and you're like, well, that's fine. I'll just meditate before we go on. And then you said you could already feel it, and we were ready to go. And I'm like, I can feel it too. And then we kind of mentioned how quickly it seems like when you try to go and center yourself, it's like the moment you close your eyes, you can feel those tingles come over you at times, you know, and it's so quick to get to that place and you don't want to come out of it. And I'm learning to sort of try to stay in that more and more throughout the day, even as you're walking around doing your
mm-hmm.
thing, and just keep taking those conscious breaths, especially if you've got to work somewhere where you're wearing a mask. The deeper your breath is, the more you're going to be breathing oxygen through and actually getting nice, pure oxygen rather than just CO2. So deeper breaths, definitely a must. And you'll notice you're getting headaches if you're
Mm-hmm.
not, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
and that's about all I have to say about that.
Yeah. Okay, I'll take a turn. Maybe that's what we have to do, is just take turns. Yeah, I'm really feeling, with that, a change in the perception of time.
Right.
We talked a bit about it last week, and sort of the connections to that movie, Arrival, where as this language from the aliens is being decoded, it literally, the understanding itself unlocks a different perception of time, and she's able to remember forwards as well as backwards. And so I really find I'm continuing to experience that as we shift our perception in how we move through this reality, or how we use that ability, right? How we are more locked in to using our third eye and interpreting our reality in a different way, that it really is changing perception of time. And not time isn't being used the same way. And I do find an increasing experience of perceiving not time, but cycles. Um, and relating life to that, or my experience to that, not a clock or hands on a wall,
Mm-hmm.
but these cycles, and feeling all cycles within them, and understanding these three stages of the first being sort of the void of being everything yet nothing,
Mm-hmm.
the potential of everything, that moment just before expansion, right? That the void space, and when it's time for that, and when it's time for the explosion, the manifestation, the creation, the imagination, like the actual combustion, the act of creation, and when it is time for that, and then when it is time for the decomposition, the deconstruction, and the release of those things, and sort of being in this symbiotic understanding of that, kind of allows you to perceive reality in a different way.
Right.
A little hard to explain.
No, I know what you're saying
But
though. It is almost like becoming multidimensional, you know, including time. So it's like that
yes.
movie where it's like you're not in this fixed point, but you can get down in it not only through time but the different levels. So on this level, sure, it seems like chaotic and there's things to fear and all this, but then you can take a step up and say, no, that actually just those are just like little stories playing out, like kids grouped in the basement on different board games. They're just little games that people are playing out. The whole basement isn't even real. It's just a little stage down there, and that's where most people are kind of playing at. And things can seem very like random and chaotic and uncertain and all of that. And I can relate with that, but you can take a step out of that, and then you can begin to see, like, oh my gosh, well that's causing that, and although that seems bad, that sure woke that person up, doesn't it? And then and you're beginning to see sort of the deeper momentum of growth and expansion, and the expansion of human consciousness. And you can see all of this.
Hmm.
And a lot of the things that seem like we've dipped, it's only dipping to spring back up, like sort of like what do you call a thing you jump, a trampoline. Sort
Yeah.
of like
I see it like a
spring up.
spiral, like you said, like a coil.
Yeah.
You know, there's this core of energy that we are, this pillar core of energy that we are, that experiences this coil or cycles, right?
Right.
So it's not like we kind of perceive it or picture it as us walking on a line, a road, right?
Right.
And it's a change in perception of seeing it more like being a beam, you being the beam, and then there's a coil, the seasons, the coil, the cycle,
Yeah.
but it's not flat, it's infinite, so it's always ascending, descending, and that our experience can be that we can literally through perception put ourselves at any point in that coil.
Right.
And this is how we change our perception of time, and actually our ability to move through time or perceive time differently. In that, if you're this energy that goes through the center of this coil, you literally can just divert your energetic attention to whatever point in the coil, or recognize where you are in the coil. You
Right.
can readjust and relocate.
Right.
And it's a completely different thing from thinking that you have to walk along this straight road or straight line.
Right.
So there's images to that just sound very metaphoric, but at the same time, there is a growing ability, just like I would equate it to, again, that movie, in the perception of time as she starts to understand the archetypal language that is being used. And it really is very symbiotic with what is going on here. And as we decode or wake up, we perceive our environment. You start to perceive archetypes, themes, and you let go of beliefs, and you start to read your environment through these themes,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to old belief systems. And you can see when archetypes are being used, and as that ability increases, so then does your ability to move through time in a different way
Mm-hmm.
and perceive time in a different way, going from walking along that straight road to understanding that you are that beam, that pillar.
Right.
And if you can pull that energy back in, understand where you are, you can redirect where you want to be on that coil or spiral, and literally pull it into your experience
Right. Because in a
like a
way,
coil.
it's almost like you're already there. You're just moving your awareness there,
Yes.
right?
Yes. In a different way.
Right.
In a different way.
Yeah.
And there still is a perception of a movement
Yeah.
from this state of being to that state of being. But okay, so what I'm getting at is an analogy for is basically how we've done it previously is, like I said, we have three states of being: ice, water, vapor. So that walking the road, that would be of how we would typically I would have to melt that ice first to become water, and then I would have to heat that water to become vapor, is how we used to have to do it. So this is equivalent to that process of being able to take that ice
Turn it
and
into steam.
dry ice going to vapor. It'd be like dry ice going,
Right.
like skipping that step.
Right.
So there's still an evolution to from one state to the other, which takes a process
Right.
itself, but we don't have to walk that road the same way to get there. I hope that makes sense, guys.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because it's all connected, and it is like moving upward instead of spiraling around.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Let me see if I got any comments here. Irene, Marie. Oh, that's cool. Let's see. Hello in Idaho, you guys. So yeah, definitely if you're watching this later on, put any kind of symptoms or dreams or any experiences below. What's up, Kate? Lots of love to you. And she's driving. Be safe there in Missouri. And unless you have anything else, thanks for being here, Michelle. And
Yeah, no, that's great.
And we made it through the, I don't know if it's Mercury retro. Actually, isn't it almost time for that again? Has it started?
Probably.
October or something, remember? Supposed to happen 3 times this
Coming
year.
in, starting. Yeah, I'll look it up. I'll look it up when we're done, if I'm able to.
Absolutely. Well, lots of love, light, and unity to each and every one of you guys. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Peace.
Be sure to check out the website at uotf.net. There you will find the live stream schedule displayed in your local time right there on the front page. Below that, you'll find links to take the Beyond Quantum Healing course at a discounted rate, purchase our book, Mandela Effect, Friend or Foe, in paperback or ebook, or to contact me to schedule a BQH session. At the top of the site, you'll find links to help support the work I do, access the free private forum where you can discuss organizing get-togethers in your area, Mandela effects, and more. Thank you all so much for being here.